medieval medical remedies that will make you grateful for modern medicine. Hello and welcome to the channel. Let me paint you a picture. You have a headache. Today you take ibuprofen and hydrate, right? Back in medieval times, you'd be bled with a knife, smeared with goat dung, and maybe have a bit of your skull drilled out for good measure. Because why not? Welcome to the Middle Ages, when doctors wore bird masks and the cure was usually worse than the disease. Hello, I'm your friendly neighborhood medically trained time traveler, and today we are diving into the world of medieval medical remedies, a realm where science met superstition and the human body was basically a meat sack full of black bile and bad decisions. From bloodletting to astrology-based diagnoses, medieval medicine was a chaotic mixture of kind of right science, hardcore religious fear, and straight-up witchcraft. You might think people in the Middle Ages were just uninformed, but actually they were trying really hard. They just didn't have microscopes, antibiotics, or, a basic understanding of germs. Today we'll explore the theories medieval medicine was based on, some truly insane cures in inverted commas, what worked, what didn't, and what definitely got people killed. And most importantly, why you should hug your local pharmacist for living in the 21st century. Let's dive right in. But first, we have a new app. You can connect directly with me and ask away to your heart's content. Take a look at the app. Askadoc for advice. Personalized medical advice at your fingertips. If you have a burning question you don't want to post here, post it on the app and I shall do my best to answer it in a timely fashion.
Ever had a health question you were too worried or too busy to ask in person? Got a health concern but no time for the clinic? Introducing Askadoc for Advice, your direct line to real qualified doctors right from your phone. Get expert medical advice, personalized responses, and peace of mind anytime, anywhere. Safe, secure, and easy to use. Download Askadoc for Advice today and take control of your health journey. Askadoc for Advice. Download now on iOS and Android.
Before we roast their treatments, let's understand what medieval medicine was all about. The main theory, the four humors. Have you heard of this? This idea, inherited from ancient Greek medicine, thanks, Hippocrates, you rascal, said that the body was governed by four fluids: blood, hot and wet, like an overcooked burrito; phlegm, cold and wet, like a sad winter cold; yellow bile, hot and dry, think dragon vomit; blah. Black bile, cold and dry, basically medieval depression. Illness was caused by an imbalance in these humors. So the solution, get rid of the humor. Get rid of the offending stuff. Too much blood, bleed them. Too much phlegm, induce vomiting. Too much yellow bile, laxatives, baby. Too sad, probably demons. Try prayer or leeches. And don't forget astrology. Some doctors wouldn't perform surgery unless the moon was in the right phase, because apparently Saturn was real judgy about gallbladder removals. Also, the church had opinions. Medicine was often tangled with religion. Some thought illness was punishment for sin. Others thought it was caused by miasma, bad smells. And a few believed demons had entered through your nether regions. I don't know. Medieval theology was wild. Now, let's get into some actual treatments medieval people used. Warning, 90% of these sound like lost Monty Python sketches. For my British listeners, you would know who Monty Python was. For everyone else who doesn't know, just Google it. You would see exactly what I mean. By the way, sorry if I sound a bit nasal. I have a cold and I'm trying a medieval remedy. I shall tell you, if I live that long, whether it works or not. The first treatment we're going to look at is number 1, bloodletting, because clearly you have too much life. If you had a fever, a rash, or just a bad vibe, doctors would cut open a vein and let you bleed out. This was done with leeches, knives, or if you were fancy, gold-plated bleeding bowls. Modern translation, I think you're sick, but I'm just going to drain you like a nursing bovine. Spoiler, some people actually did pass away from this extreme bloodletting. But hey, that was the medieval times. At least for them, the humors of the patients were balanced in the afterlife, apparently. Treatment number 2, garlic and wine for wounds. This is one of the few things that kinda worked. A medieval remedy called Bald's Leech Book, B-A-L-D, included a recipe for wound treatment using garlic, onions, wine, and bile. Modern researchers recreated it, and shockingly, it actually killed MRSA bacteria, methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus bacteria. So yeah, garlic, delicious and deadly to microbes. A win for medieval medicine here. Treatment number 3, dead mice poultices. For toothaches, people would mash up dead mice and smear them on the gums. Because nothing soothes oral pain like plague-flavored mouse puree. Yummy. If you thought that was bad, consider number 4, folks. Dried animal dung. Dung from dogs, geese, or pigs was used in everything from facial creams to hemorrhoid treatment. That's right, you had bottom pain, so they gave you infection. Circular logic at its finest. Number 5, boiled candles and urine tonics. People drank their own urine for health. Sometimes somebody else's urine. And applied melted wax from church candles to wounds. To be fair, this drinking urine for health is not exactly extinct, is it? I do hear of people, I even see it on YouTube videos, who swear by it. Now, I'm not a fan of that. I wouldn't encourage anyone to do that. But this belief that urine helps or cures for some reason dates back a long time. The mind boggles, but there we are. Treatment number 6, trepanation, otherwise known as skull drilling. If someone had seizures, headaches, or mental illness, doctors sometimes drilled a hole into their skull to relieve evil spirits. Amazingly, some people survived this. Others, of course, didn't, because, well, it's drilling a hole into your skull without anesthesia. Yes. Moving swiftly. Number 7, herbs, charms, and vibes. A lot of herbal remedies actually had potential. Willow bark, for instance, contains salicin, the precursor to aspirin. And I'm sure many of you know that the Latin name or the medical name for aspirin is salicylic acid. But sometimes treatments were just wear this amulet and don't make eye contact with the moon. Medicine was a mix of botany and je ne sais quoi. Now let's take a look at the case books of medieval medicine. Let's look at case number 1, the flatulence cure. A monk wrote that to cure excessive farting, flatulence, to use its technical name, you should roast a hedgehog, grind it up with rose oil, and eat it. First of all, how much flatulence is a concern here to justify this drastic treatment? Secondly, what did the hedgehog do to deserve this? Case number 2, the plague beard mask. During the Black Death, doctors wore terrifying bird masks filled with herbs. They believed the herbs would filter the air and protect them. It didn't work. They all still died. The question is, why? It was a mask after all, and during our recent worldwide pandemic, we were all encouraged to wear masks. So, yeah, obviously the Black Death was somehow a potent pandemic, of course, and no amount of barrier protection was going to work at that stage of our planet's existence. Now we have far more sophisticated parallel therapies measures which do make a difference. Case number 3, the demonic toothworm. Tooth pain was believed to be caused by worms living in your teeth, so naturally they tried to smoke them out with hot coals or boiling vinegar. Who needs a dentist when you've got fire and vinegar enemas for your face? Case number 4, seizure, tie a mole to your head. One cure for epilepsy was to kill a mole, skin it, and wear the hide around your neck. Doctor, I keep having seizures. Ah yes, you need a fashion mole. Problem solved. Did any of this stuff actually work? Shockingly, yes, kind of. As I already alluded to, herbal medicine actually did work a lot during the medieval age. Many medieval herbalists documented the use of mint, sage, lavender, and yarrow. Some had anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial effects. Diet and hygiene advice. Doctors recommended moderation in food, sleep, and even bathing. The problem, sometimes they also said bathing makes you weak. So the advice was inconsistent where hygiene was concerned. But for sure, the advice on moderation, especially with regard to food, was actually quite wise, quite sage. And that's advice we could do with in our modern age. When it comes to isolation during plagues like the Black Death, they didn't know about germs. But they did notice that quarantine worked. Cities would close gates. Ships were kept offshore for 40 days. Also known as 40 giorni. And this is, by the way, where we get the word quarantine from. It comes from the Latin or Italian or Spanish or Latin-based word quaranta. 40 giorni in Italian, of course, means 40 days. So, great to learn something new. I had never thought where that word quarantine comes from, but now I know. So, how did we go from mole hats to mRNA vaccines? The short version of the story is the Renaissance happened. Anatomists started dissecting bodies. The printing press spread ideas. Germ theory finally debunked miasma nonsense. And pain management, anesthesia came along in the 1800s. Before that, surgery was like a brutal horror scene. Today, we have antibiotics. No more onion bile paste, thank God. Vaccines, no need to tie frogs to your feet anymore. MRIs instead of skull drills. We've come a long way, except for that part where people still think that oregano oil kills cancer. That's so 1547. So, next time you pop a Tylenol, get a root canal, or survive flu season without being bled by a barber surgeon holding a leech, take a moment to say thank you, modern science. Medieval medicine was a wild ride, equal parts terrifying, creative, and occasionally kind of brilliant. They did their best, even if their best sometimes involved mouse smoothies. If you enjoyed this grotesque little journey through the dark ages of medicine, smash that like button like it's a demon in your bile. Don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable medical history. Comment below, please. Which medieval cure horrified you the most? There's quite a selection to pick from. Would you let someone drill your skull if it meant fewer migraines? And have you thanked your pharmacist today? Thanks for watching. Stay healthy, stay skeptical, and for the love of all things scientific, don't rub dung on your wounds. And if you really want to know why, Askadoc.